Okay, so my first little exercise here is I'm just going to do a bit of colour mixing, and I would suggest that if you've got some watercolours, just get 2 or 3 colours out and just have a little play with different scenarios. So the colours I've got here, I've got a primrose yellow, I have a quinachrome magenta, and I have an ultramarine blue. So any light yellow, lemon yellow is brilliant for this as well, as is cadmium yellow. So you can just, cadmium yellow light, you can just try different colours. Quinachrome magenta doesn't have to be that. This is some colours I've got from the SAA. It's just such a gorgeous colour, I'm going to use it for this. But if you have something like rose madder, permanent rose, alizarin crimson, any of those sort of pinky based colours, and you'll see why we use the pinky based colours in a minute. And ultramarine is a good neutral blue. It's not too much in the green shade, it's just a good neutral blue, so I'm going to be using that one. So let's start off, let's just put a little bit of my colour down here. So let's start off with just a patch of pure yellow, just this yellow on its own. And then what I'm going to do is put a bit of my magenta down here. So I'm going to take a tiny little bit of my magenta and add it into my yellow. So we're just making it that little bit peachier. It's coming down and just making that yellow a little darker. Tiny little bit more at a time. So coming down to almost an apricot-y sort of colour here. Again, just tiny little amounts adding in. Ooh, nice sort of dusky pink there. Coming through, keep going, keep going. We come around the corner, so we've now got this kind of quite rich pinky colour. Now you can see here we're quite red in our mixture. Now with a pink based colour and the yellow you can get reds, but if you have a red like a straight cadmium red, you're not going to get the pinky based colours, so that's why I've used sort of a pinky based colour here for this. So I'm now gradually coming through to my magenta. So we're kind of at the magenta on its own here now. So we've gone through from our bright yellow to our dusky yellows, through to our apricots, round to our reds, and now we're back up to our pinks. So the next step here is adding in some of our ultramarine. So again, I'm just going to pick up a tiny amount of that and add it into my magenta. A bit too much. So we've got this kind of reddish violet going on here. Just slowly adding that in. And if we add a little more, we come down to this real beautiful deep purpley blue. You can see I'm picking up very little colour each time. You don't need a lot of colour with watercolour. Right, I'm just about here now at my ultramarine blue. So this is my proper ultramarine blue. So again, we've gone through that range of colours. Just going to take some of my yellow down here. So now I'm going to start adding the yellow into the ultramarine. Again, picking up, as you can see, the tiniest amount of colour each time, just adding it in. We're gradually coming through to some very sort of blue greens here. So you gradually add more and more of the yellow. Going up to more of the sap greens and then the lemony greens. real sharp acid greens here, and then we gradually work our way back to the yellow on its own. So again, this is just the three colours together. So it's quite easy how you can see two colours. So this is all two colour mixes. So all of this is yellow with a bit more and a bit more and a bit more of the magenta in, and then from here we start doing the magenta with a bit more of the blue in, and then we come round to the blue with a little bit of the primrose yellow in. So it's just two colours at a time here, and we've made all of these colours so far. So next thing I'm going to go on to is looking at the earth colours. Now I was always taught that to make a brown you need an orange, so I'm going to mix up myself a nice rich orange here and some blue. So let's give myself some more of the ultramarine in there. So a bit of the ultramarine and the orange. So just by having that, that's mainly blue. So we gradually add a little bit more. Got these kind of deep purpley shadow colours, which is amazing. So this is kind of coming on greys at the minute, and then we're going down to the dusky pinks. Now that's got a little bit too much red in for the brown that I want, so here we've gone a bit greeny, but it's a greeny brown. So we then add a bit more of this one. It's just adding all the three colours together, seeing what we come up with. Ooh, that's quite a nice interesting beige tan colour. So you can see you can mix through all these different browns and beiges. So that's quite an interesting one. Now to get something really dark, it's just more of everything. So I'm going to put the three colours together here. But it's just a lot of paint that you need to get a really dark colour. See, we can get these really quite dark tones and shades going on in there. So we can get that all the way around. See, look, I don't even think I put that one down. A bit of that one. You can just keep going. The options are endless. So we've used just our three colours. Let me just show you here. These are the three colours I've used. So these are watercolours from the SAA. If you have a look at saa.co.uk to have a look at that. So this is the, I've got non-granulating ultramarine. We can go into the technicalities of granulation at a later stage, but that's just a beautiful clear ultramarine. I had this primrose yellow, which is a very pretty yellow. And then the quinachrome magenta, which is a lovely, vibrant, bright, pinky colour. So get yourself some watercolour paper, get yourself whatever watercolour paints that you've got. I've just used here a knot surface, again, something I will go into at a future stage. But yeah, we've got all of these colours just out of those three. So have a little play and see how you get on.